Everybody. Well, whoever is here yet. Thank you guys for showing up. We are going to be discussing all the helter skelter that's going on in the United States of these Americas and about the killings that seem to be happening between the races. So, if you are ready to discuss, join us as we start the Savage Patriot. We're here, people. We got three
Don't do
cases.
that
Hello,
with the
hello,
cover.
hello.
Technically four. Technically four. Three cases for sure. I just heard from Burrow that they arrested the white guy, the Marine that strangled the crazy guy. And no doubt they arrested him because of pressure, not because of
Oh yeah.
case information.
Yes.
And my
But the other
question is going to
ones,
be: Is are they going to arrest the other two black guys that were
no, they're
involved in
not
that
because
as
they're not
accessories?
white. They're not white.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
they're white. They're not. Yeah, they're not white.
They're not.
The other cases we want to talk about is the killing of Miss Preston, the police officer in Chicago. And we're also going to talk about the two black men that killed Peanut, the white dude, while hanging out in front of his yard, putting up his poster. And we're also going to talk about that old white guy, old black guy that killed the two white strangers simply because they were white.
White.
Now, to begin things off, we're going to ask the biggest question in the room.
Hmm.
Are they in, let's put it this way, are they trying right now more than ever before to try and create a actual war between blacks and whites in this state, in this country?
Yes.
I mean, if they're not, they're just creating more white supremacists. That's my gathering. Is like everything that they've been doing just goes to show. Like, it's funny. Like, for as many people to say that they're not trying to erase white folk, they try really hard to prove them right. You know what I mean? It's like, that sounds insane. They would never do that. But then right out of their own mouths, they say it themselves, is like, white people should be exterminated. They should not exist on the planet. Right? And it's like, why are you feeding into these people? You're giving them exactly what they're saying that you're doing. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't new, man. This type of putting races up against each other has been going on ever since I was a kid. I mean, when I was a kid, what we have? We had what's his name? Rodney King, right? That was my first.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first. Like, oh crap, white cops beat black man. You know them, and they were pushing. They kept showing the video over and over and over again, right? Then what did those black dudes do to Reginald Denny?
Right.
They beat the crap out of him, and that wasn't really a story. They was like, whatever.
Yeah, he
So,
deserved that. I heard
yeah.
story like he deserved it because
Yeah,
you know.
and that's where it's getting to, the way the world is, and this whole bull crap, white supremacy crap. That's all bull crap because no one's supreme over me. So I don't believe in any supreme ideology. I don't believe another man is supreme over me. So that's just some stuff that's force fed down these kids' mouths. So it makes them feel like they're a victim or they're going on an attack. And so they have to go on the attack. It's like you're almost backing them up in a corner. So when they attack, whatever they do to someone that's not black, it's justified with the word.
It's not just that. I also think that they're literally creating the monsters that they hope. They're creating the monster that they're basically creating the monster that they don't like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if
That's
they
what
don't like
I
white
said,
supremacists, basically, I'm with Coin. I'm not even white. Well, I'm
You're white adjacent.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
white adjacent. That's how it goes.
Technically, on the screen, you're also white adjacent because you're right next to the white guy.
You look really. You notice the two black folk are up
We're on
top where
top.
we belong.
Yeah, kings.
Oh yeah. No, but that does bring an interesting question since Michael brought that up. I mean, do you think that you see more black supremacists and like black nationalists now more than ever? Like, take Jada Pinkett Smith and her erasing Egyptian culture just to feed her own black supremacy narrative. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if somebody from the KKK made a movie about like Frederick Douglass but played a white man for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It'd be outrage, but I do see
I don't know.
forms of black supremacy within our race. I don't even know what to say. I hate community. I hate race. I hate all those words. But demographic. I like that. Okay. But you do see it a lot more. But like I said, it's being done and no one's saying anything because they feel it's justified. I've never met a white supremacist. I've been on this earth for 47 years, 20 something of those as an adult. I've never met a white supremacist ever. I've never seen a KKK member. I've met some skinhead. I can't say I never. I've seen some.
I was about to say I have.
Never
I know they exist.
I've seen them, but I don't live my life worrying about them. Oh my God, there's a KKK, you know. So the boogeyman has been put into these people's heads, like I said earlier. And now, you know, they're like, well, if they did it for so many years, it's our turn. And this is why when you see it, no one really talks about it because they feel that it's justified for people that have been oppressed for what they say 400
justified
years.
Rage.
Yeah, 400 years, whatever they like to throw out there.
But it's interesting though, because none of this rhetoric, from what I remember being cognizant enough about racial divides and racial differences, from the moment of high school in through college and even up to now, the rhetoric has only been increasing in terms of racial divide since the last 5-7 years. So it's interesting that for the last like 3 decades, there's been nothing, but now all of a sudden it's ramped up within these last 5-6 years. So I'm wondering what's going on and why now.
It started in the colleges. That's exactly where it started. When you had critical race theory being interjected into college and then was disseminated to people who were going to teach the next generation, of course this is going to happen, right? Like you can't preach that an entire generation of people are evil and bigots automatically because of their birthright, right? So like that's what they basically espouse, is that everything that's ever come from anything comes from white people. So you look at that whole thing of like how to not be white situation, like being on time, being responsible, having a budget, like those things, that's all racist, right? Because white people came up with that. That's what they're saying. So like when people do the whole critical race theory is saying like white privilege is responsible for everything that's wrong in the world, they're just espousing white supremacy talking points themselves in order to justify bringing white people down, which doesn't make any sense. So you're saying they're supreme, so we have to bring them down. So you agree with white supremacists that they're supreme, is what you're saying. Because when they say it like that, that's exactly how it sounds to me. It's like, oh, they're up here, we got to bring them down. So why are they up there? If everybody's the same, then why are they up there?
And if you are better, how are they up there?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I have found a black supremacist.
Oh, there's a lot out there. Oh,
This is one. Does anybody know who this is? This is Tariq Nasheed.
Yes. I was going to say.
Tariq Nasheed is a interesting individual. He's one of those that espouses the original blacks, or the authentic ones that are, born here.
The foundational black Americans.
Foundational black Americans nonsense. And his twin brother, I call him his twin brother, although they don't look the same, is this fool here.
Umar. Dr. Umar.
All right. Now, because of these two, I blame these two, and I mean it outright. I blame these two for situations like this. I blame them for that.
Man.
Because they have been instrumental in pumping into the brains of the youth hatred, not only for your own kind if they disagree, but hatred for white people. So they have pushed this throughout the entire black community, telling them that they're less while telling them that they're more, which is confusing. Then telling them that they have an obligation to put to rest white people. So they go out and do stuff. And not only that, so now you've introduced them violence. And the only place they seem to direct it, for the majority of them, is towards each other. Then, of course, it will spill over. The way it spills over is into situations like this one, where an old head went out to kill white people. And I can guarantee you this, that he will not be charged anything heavy.
What state was it
That's what I'm going to guarantee you right now. Who, this old man?
Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma.
Yeah. Oof, that's hard. But yeah, maybe depends on the jurisdiction.
He won't get anything. I'm telling you right now.
And
These two will get off too. They'll get off easy, I'll say.
they'll find a way to get them off, because what they're always going to revert back to is the system. The system is unfair. The system is oppressive. What precedents are we setting if we put these oppressed black people behind bars for retaliating against the system? You know what I mean? And this is why you see it pouring over within racial demographics, right? Marlon and I see this daily, right? We're called this, we're coons, we're Uncle Toms, we're this, we're that, we're this, and we're that. It's because they think black conservatives are a part of this supremacy.
We need to bring up that Vosh clip.
Supremacy system. So if they feel you're part of the supremacy system, things will happen to you like it happened to that female officer. So it's something that is being taught. It is something that is being driven through these so-called doctors and intellects and professors, like Coy said, academics. It's being pushed, and these young, fragile minds are buying into it.
And it's interesting you say that, because from a demographical standpoint, between racial demographics, that's why they call Asians white adjacents, because of the fact that on a statistical level, Asians have been succeeding at an alarming rate historically, and because that's akin to white supremacy and white privilege, like Asians are considered the carriers or the supporters of white privilege and white supremacy, because by nature and culture we're more, we study more, we're more focused on school, we don't have the personality, which is why certain schools like Princeton and Harvard are issuing these quotas, barring Asian people from entry, because it's weighted for Asians to enter, but because they don't have the black quota, they're barring Asians from entry because of lack of personality and stuff like that. So it's interesting how everybody that has a low melanin count is considered to be oppressed, but then you have people who, like you guys, who are successful, who understand what it means to work hard, to be studious, to be punctual, to be, smart with your money, and that goes against the mainstream narrative of black culture, if you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You mentioned that individual. I'm going to play this clip for you guys it's very short. Just take a gander at the people that are supposedly, now hear me out. These are the white people that are supposedly pro-black. Okay, this individual is supposedly pro-black. But I'd make sure you have to listen to what he says, okay? Just listen to what he says. Pro-black. I want to keep saying that because you have to understand what pro-black looks like from the... Okay, here you go.
I would say that being a black conservative pretty much categorically means you don't have much common sense, yeah.
Do you hate black conservatives?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I do love all people, but I hate black conservatives.
What the? You think they should vote like the radical blacks who are voting for Democrats?
Absolutely.
So you're saying blacks don't have the common sense to make good decisions for themselves?
Black conservatives? Oh no, because they have the gall of being conservative while having experienced what it means to be under the heel of a white supremacist state. It seems to me they're the ones who should have the greatest interest in voting against it.
How is it that when I was growing up, under the Jim Crow laws, on the plantation, that black people did better than they are today? They had families, they got married, abortion was unheard of, they bought land, built businesses, they became professionals, they went to college, those that wanted to go. Why were blacks able to do better then than they are today?
Because white folk got more clever. I'll stop treating them like victims. I'll say, hey, you gotta work hard, you gotta overcome your status. At the same time, white folk got more clever.
Yeah.
White liberals are hilarious.
Everyone is speechless.
So I wanna ask the elephant in the room question. So you're saying that black people stayed stupid and white people got more intelligent, and that's that
Yep.
that's oh, okay.
Yep.
But at least he's honest about his racism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's the same thing of the video of the people asking if black folk can get voter IDs. That's the best one.
I love that video.
No, because sometimes they just don't have access to the internet. Like it's
Internet.
20.
They
It's
don't know what to
2023.
do.
Who doesn't have access?
Oh,
They don't know what to do.
I remember that when they said that everyone was doing these videos, like you pick up a laptop like you're an ape and you're like hitting it like who doesn't know? My mother is almost 70 years old and she knows exactly how to use the internet. What the I don't know.
I know.
You
right?
know, it's people like him, right? Who think voting makes you who you are, and
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Voting doesn't define the individual. You know what I mean? I vote based off what aligns with me. That's nothing to do with my skin color. It has nothing to do with the person I'm voting for skin color. It's an ideology and policies that they want to push that aligns with my way of thinking. Period. They don't want black conservatives to do that. They want you to toe the line so they can tell you what to do, where to go, how to talk, where to walk, and all this stuff. And the thing with black or white liberals like that is that they look at like a lot of black liberals, and I'm not going to say them all. There's a lot of them where I don't want to say their education level isn't the best education level. So as a
They're
white
dumb. Just
Okay.
say it. They're dumb.
Okay, they're dumb.
Okay? They're
So
dumb.
as a white liberal, they like to feel that superiority that over them. They're like, look, I'm smarter than them. Look, I can talk better than them. Look, I'm more educated than them. With the black conservative, they know they can't do that. Because if you look at it, black conservatives tend to be way smarter. I'm just saying it's the truth. Marlon, help me out here. It is the truth.
And it's not only that, but I also think that white liberals who display their intellect utilize their intellect and disguise it to be allyship. You know?
Yeah.
I'm an ally.
Just because you have a college degree doesn't mean you've gained wisdom. I had the ability to sit through a class once or twice and pass a test. That's it. That doesn't mean you gained any wisdom or intelligence from said
$85,000 later.
And the majority of college is what? Memorizing shit. You know, if you got a pretty good memory, you'll pass a test, right? We know that. It depends, but majority of the time, if your memory's pretty good, you're gonna pass.
Especially a liberal arts college, like
it's not like they went in there and wrote a whole book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that guy.
There's also sorry, Marlon. I was gonna
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So one of the things coming from the white perspective, I'd say, is it is going to be impossible to convince a poor white person that they have privilege. That is never going to happen. This is one of the things that irritates me about this whole, critical race theory aspect of it, is that living in the boons out in Arkansas, you're not going to be able to convince that person that they have privilege, right? They're stretching paycheck to paycheck just like everybody else. And you're saying because they're white, they have a better leg up than the rest of the people out there. Hell no. Will Smith's kids have a better leg up than a white person out in the Ozarks? I'm sorry. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Money. I think it's a class thing that they're trying to brand as a race.
Yeah.
India, at least, is honest with it. I think we ought to just get to the caste system and be done. Just go ahead and call it what it is. This is a caste system. And that way we can get the right people fighting with the right people. Now, again, we want to deal with this race war issue and with race wars, they will use every avenue of exploitation that they can find, right? So again, same individual. Just take a listen, because he's very wise, as you can tell, right? That young man, that Mr. Vosh, is a very educated individual, just brilliant. Okay, so listen to his topic here. Just listen.
Republicans are really, really angry about mail-in voting. They claim that mail-in voting drags out the time that it takes to count votes. And Republicans are weirdly insistent that vote counting and the delays that it sometimes brings are evidence of voter fraud, which is weird because they've never been able to prove voter fraud. In 2013, there was a Supreme Court case called Shelby County versus Holder, which got rid of prior civil rights legislation which required federal oversight if voting rules were to be changed in areas that were historically discriminated against along racial lines. Republicans closed thousands of polling places. Arizona, which had 1 in 5 polling places closed. There are counties in Georgia where there's only 1 polling place per county. So why do Republicans actually hate mail-in voting so much? Well, it gets in the way of them discriminating geographically and often racially against certain types of voters. It's much easier to keep certain groups of people from voting if the only way to do it is to show up on election day to one place in your county when there's no holiday that day and you could be working.
Point of order.
So now, before you go, in essence, what he's saying is that Negroes cannot and will not make it to the voting place because they're unable to. They're inept.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, he's saying that you can't prove voter fraud while telling you that discrimination is there when you can't prove that is the reason that they're. You see that. You see the problem here? Anyway, go ahead, Goy. Get your.
Yeah, so for my point of order, Mr. President, I I just want to say, if we're talking about the South here, right, the South, right, and past discriminatory practices during Jim Crow, what party was in charge of voting legislation in the South during the 1950s and 60s? Can anybody tell me?
What
Everybody in the chat. Give you 3 guesses. You're only gonna need 1.
Hold on, I think I know this one.
3 guesses. My tongue. Just 1.
Independence.
Yes, that's what it was. Independence. Yeah.
No,
it would be
libertarians.
No,
Republicans.
And also wrong.
Oh.
Oh man, who's
Well,
that
there's
leader?
only one party.
There's only one left. Democrats.
Yes, that would be the correct answer.
Oh my gosh.
Historic redlining and actual polling rules were set in place by Southern Democrats during the 50s and 60s. That is the historical discrimination they're talking about. And you know how they always go, oh, it was the Great Switch that happened. No, because all of the Southern Democrats stayed Democrats. They never changed. Like the Clintons, for instance, who were very South Democrats even before their time. So excuse me.
There were 3.
That is not true.
There were 3 senators that switched, and I think 12 that switched in the House. Individuals.
Yep.
That's it. I want people to understand that's the so-called Great Party switch that they're talking about.
And
when
it comes to the party switch, right? No matter what type of leftist you're talking to, they always have a different date. Some say the Civil War. Some say the Civil Rights Movement. Some say 1984. Some say this. They really don't know with this made up party switch. But when it comes to parties, again, since we're talking something historical, everyone needs to go check out the Free State of Jones. Well, not check it out. You can watch it on Netflix or Prime or whatever. Free State of Jones has Matthew McConaughey in it. Look at that movie so you understand how the Republican Party was started and who it was started by.
And we've even covered it on this podcast.
Yes,
we
months
talked
ago.
about this.
Months ago.
Talk about the actual roots of republicanism and where it actually comes from. And that's the point, is like they keep saying that the Republicans this and Republicans that. Is like, do you know that the Republicans are no longer the party of the ruling elite or the aristocratic elitist class, right? Because who's in charge of everything? If you really think about it, they always say that they're the resistance, right? But they're not, because everybody's behind them institutionally. The companies are, the Democrats are,
the schools,
right? Schools and all these institutional powers are feeding into them every single time, but they never do anything to actually fix it. But like going back to the whole race thing, is like Vosh is like the bigotry of low expectations was talked about in the chat, and what it talked about here is that you cannot expect people to look at that favorably and say, oh, wait a minute, are you saying that I don't have the capacity or ability to fix my own problems, or to go to a polling place and vote on my own in a single day? Like,
And it's
That
also
seems a bit
interesting.
suspect.
Yeah, and it's also interesting that when people say, white liberals especially say that, well, that's the reason why I'm laying down my white privilege. And to me, whenever I hear that, it's like, so you're telling me that I can't succeed because your white privilege is in the way. So in order for me to succeed, I need to step on your white privilege to get better, which makes you still superior. So what
Yeah.
gives?
That's exactly what that is. If I lay down my white privilege for you, that means I'm saying I have authority over you as a poor, less fortunate person. That is even worse than just saying like white supremacists are the best, like or white people are the best. That's the worst because
Come and
you're
save me, white
automatically
savior.
saying you have it, like you're born with it, and so because you are better, you're helping the poor, less fortunate souls.
Yeah.
So
It is gross and disgusting.
I want to talk about that party switch thing real quick. So the new narrative.
No, there's a new one.
There's
What?
a new one.
Come on.
Okay, you can't prove this party switch on a short, instantaneous, right? You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Let's go.
They say that the switch took place somewhere between 1860 and 1936.
That's a wide swath.
Yeah,
That is
Hold
a long time.
That gets even better. The switch, they say, was from their party's view of big government versus smaller government. But hear me out, people. The Democrats were always about the government in your business, and Republicans have always been about the government not being in your business. And I'm talking about from the advent of the Republican Party to even right now, the Republican Party. So even if you were to talk about the switch happening on a viewpoint of big government to small government, that still didn't switch. Even if you give it 100 years, it didn't switch. And even if you have this party switch over that time frame, how long is that? That's 60 to 36. That's what, 80 years, 70 years?
60.
You had in between there
70-some
multiple
years.
Democratic presidents. Okay, the party that you say switched still had multiple presidents that were Democrat that came along with the exact same platform as the predecessor. So you have zero grounds to say that anything by way of the platform changed. Nothing changed. Today, you have Democrats that will perpetually push the weakness of the Negro. One, they can't make it out of adverse situations. They can't prosper. They can't do normal everyday thing. They can't get a business. This is from your president too. You can't get a business loan. You don't have a lawyer, and you also don't have people that can help you in a bank. All of it untrue, by the way. You're not the smartest in the group, and you're always going to be the bottom. This is stuff they say out loud. Republicans tell you that you can make it if you put your shoulder to the wheel. That's racist. Telling you you're weak and insignificant, not racist. Telling you can do it, that's racist. So the race war is going to happen as a result of stupid people believing stupid stuff, both white and black. You're going to have the race war occur, and this is the problem when I think that most people aren't thinking about. The idiots on both spectrums of black and white are going to end up losing this because they're fighting out of feeling. When you fight out of feeling, you lose. The ones on the right are going to be strategic, and we will wipe you out strategically. We don't need to fight in emotion because we have the right.
It's what's insane to me though is that you have other racial demographics co-opting, signing off on that rhetoric that the Democrats are doing. Like I know plenty of Asian liberals on social media between YouTube and TikTok that are literally parroting the white liberal talking points in order to become allies. I mean, because they want to jump on the trend. They want to be cool. I mean, that's why we call them boba liberals, because Asians love boba and they're liberals.
Boba's awesome.
So you guys can use that. It is awesome, but it's a sad reality that these stupid Asian folk are literally trying to be allies in order to be cool and accepted by the black culture at large.
And here's the problem, like if it actually came down to Well, we're in like a micro race war right now. We're at a kind of like a micro level. But what if it really got to like a macro level? You know what I mean? Who are they fighting? Like, who's fighting who? Are the white liberals and the black liberals gonna fight? How are you gonna know this stuff?
Well, you already see that happening now with the Texas shooter saying that he's a white supremacist because he was the Mexican dude with the swastika, or they haven't even confirmed that was him to begin with, but still they're like, he's a white supremacist, suspected white supremacist, like the blackface of white supremacy. It does. You don't have. Okay, here's the thing. You don't have to be white to be a white supremacist anymore, right?
No.
You can be any color you want to be and still be a white supremacist.
What they call Larry Elder? A black what? A black
The
white
blackface,
supremacist.
the blackface of white supremacy.
Yeah,
White
the
supremacy,
blackface
yep.
of white supremacy.
You know why they did that though? It wasn't to insult Larry. It was to target Larry. When you have a bunch of psychopathic white people and emotional Negroes, and you put in front of them stupid narratives like that, because they're not thinking and they're not intelligent, and I'm gonna say it as it is. The emotional Negroes in America are stupid people. I'll say it out loud. You, Black Americans, who are overly emotional, you're dumb. And I mean dumber than a box of rocks at the bottom of a muddy ocean. You're dumb. You're twice as ignorant as stupid liberal white people. Because you allow them in their stupidity to control you. You're twice as stupid. And to tell you the truth, the white people are extremely dumb. What does that say about you? You're putting yourself in a position where you will never, ever, 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 ever make it out. Never. Because you're putting yourself in the same boat as the moronic liberal white people who have no intention of helping you. None. They don't care. They are doing everything they can to get clout from you. And you, like an absolute buffoon, give them what they want. You don't realize that in this method that you're operating in, you are remaining in the very thing that you say you want to escape from. You actually are embedding yourself in the exact same system you want freedom from. The white supremacists that call themselves allies are pushing you to fight people that have nothing against you. And those people, when they're pushed, they're not going to handle that very well. I'm just letting you know. Both white, black, Asians, everyone that thinks correctly are not going to put up with your BS. You have allowed the usurpation of your mental faculties by liberal whites. Okay? And they're helping push this war that we are on the precipice of. Now, if you don't believe yourself to be stupid, then snap out of your stupor. If you're not that dumb, then wise up in your action. Prove to me that you're not as dumb as you're behaving. Because there's scores upon scores upon scores of rational thinking African Americans that have to sit through your stupidity every day and have been suffering because of your stupidity, because they're branded by your dumbness. If you don't want to see the demise of your race, maybe stop affiliating with the people that hate you. White liberals. They don't like you. They have nothing for you. They do not want to see you prosper. In fact, they believe, little tidbit of information for you, they believe that you can only survive on a handout from white people. That's how bad
The
they
thing is the worst.
If they see you as incapable of handling your own business, doing your own thing because you need help from the white man who is more powerful than you. That's what they're telling you. And you sit there like a complete fool, sucking it up and believing it. And when the ones that don't believe that strike out on their own, you class them as white.
And here's the thing. Here's why a lot of, I would say, white liberals hate black conservatives. It's because we don't allow them to speak for us. We show them the ladder. You know, we show them that we're not victims, and they don't like that. Why don't they like that? Because there's no money in a free thinking black man. There's no money in it for them. So if every black man woke up tomorrow and just said, screw that, I'm thinking for myself, I don't need anyone, whether they white, black, whatever, whoever. I'm an individual. I'm going to make my own decisions. I'm going to stop listening to these white liberals. I'm going to stop listening to these black liberals or whatever. Start thinking for yourself. There's no money in it. So they hate it because they can't control a black conservative. And then the black liberals look at the black conservatives like the slaves used to look at the free slaves. He think he better than us. Look at him kissing a boot and all this other crap, instead of saying, hey man, how did you do it? What did you do to get out this or that? Or what did you do for, to be successful? Instead, they talk down to us. They call us sellouts and all types of names because they don't think that we made it without the help of the white man, when a lot of us did make it without that help.
And it's not even if you don't want to be a Republican, I ain't asking you to be a Republican. I'm asking you to use some rational thought here. That's all. Okay, let's break it down just a tad real quick. What do you call somebody in your circle who every single time you see them reminds you of how inadequate you are? If aside from race, just put all that aside. If you are going about your day every day, and the only time you see this person is when they come to tell you about how inadequate you are and how poorly you're doing and how that's how you're always going to be, if not for blah, 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 blah. Would you, by any metric, keep that person around? If you wanted to proceed in life, would you keep that person around you? Logically, you would say no, because what they're offering you is a travesty. On the other hand, you have someone that comes around you. Every day they tell you, man, you got this. All you got to do is put aside all the stuff that's keeping you back and just move forward, truck. It's going to be hard, but you can do this. If that person is always around you, reassuring you, is that person your enemy? Or is the clown that always tells you that you're nothing your enemy? But for some reason, when it translates to race, that's your friend. That's your ally. That one supports you in your bad and low place. No, they're keeping you there. They're not supporting you. They are the anchor. That's the one that's killing you. Not the one telling you to strap up and go. It's the one that's killing you. When they keep telling you that you're inadequate, that some external force is stronger than you, you are listening to the one person that wants to keep you behind them. They're the ones that's actually afraid of what you can do, not the ones that are moving along without concern about what you're doing. If people don't get this by now, you're going to end up learning the hard way. I'm trying my best to not listen. For all the black people in America that might hate my behind because of the things I say, I really don't care if you like me or not. This has nothing to do with me wanting your appreciation. But I'm going to call a spade a spade. Whether you like it or not, somebody has to slap you out of your stupor. You want to go have someone talk to you soft and nice, go find a counselor. I ain't that one. I see things that you are going to have to come and to face up with reality with. No one has ever made it in this country by sitting on their behind. Eventually, you're going to get exposed for not having anything in your wheelhouse, and you'll fail. We are simply asking you to stop trying to get something out of people that don't want you to have it. They don't want you to have it. So you have two choices behind you. You have two choices. Continue down the path you're on and end up dead, either by the hand of your own brothers or the hand of people that have had enough. Or you get out from on this plantation and you start fending for yourself and start supporting your actual neighborhood with action. Those are your only two choices. If you want to die, feel free. The rest of us, we ain't about that life. We don't want that badge of honor. But this kind of nonsense that you see people killing white people because they're white, and you see liberal white people killing black people because they're black, and you see, and mind you, that's usually what happens. It's a liberal white person that killed somebody. Just make sure you go check the stats on that. And then you have the black community killing each other because they don't believe that they can make it out. And they all got there off of one belief system, all fostered by the Democrats and liberal white people. Believe it or not, that's
And
the way it
it's
started.
and it's crazy to me that, as you were saying, that the reason why I think that it continues to happen as the status quo is because white liberals have packaged oppression to be attractive.
Hmm.
There's
I mean, say what you want, but white liberals have done a really, really, really good job at marketing.
yeah, there's another problem that stems from that. I'd like there's a couple different ways you can call it. You can call it the barrel of monkeys problem, or you can call it the crab problem. Right? Is that in certain communities in the United States, if you act a certain way, they'll say you're acting too white. Right? That's the slur. You're acting too white. Why do you want to act like a white person? Right? You need to. So they pull each other down to saying it's bad to be a certain way. It's bad to exhibit whiteness, right? Or white traits is what they attribute it to. And that's that whole thing that the Smithsonian had, that whole list of things that you can't be in order to be white, right? And to stop being so white. That's that problem that comes about, is that communities will pull, especially in African American communities, they'll pull them down when they see somebody getting too white, as it's been called. But it's also another issue that I'm concerned about, coming from the white side of things, is that all of this rhetoric, all of it's going to do is cause more division and more white supremacy in the long run, right? So you're looking at this at a problem is like, how do you create extremists? Is you isolate them and you demagogue them to a point to where they feel that they are threatened as a group, right? So the more that they preach this anti-white hate and rhetoric to the point that white people feel threatened, you're just going to create more of the problem that you're trying to get rid of in the first place. And that's what my fear is that down the road, all this is going to do is create more extremists as we go on. And that's going to be the really scary thing, especially for our kids growing up, is like, how is this going to translate over? We're trying to teach our kids to not see race and to see the person, right? The content of the character, the color of the skin. That's what we believe in, especially as conservatives, is that we believe in people being people. If they're a bad person, they're a bad person. If they're a good person, they're a good person, right? It doesn't matter what color they are. That's what we want our kids to teach. But what they're teaching in schools is not that, is that they're demonizing one particular group of people, saying that they're evil and they're the reason for all of your troubles, right? How does that not sound familiar to a lot of people? Is that one particular race is the problem for all of your ails, and if we just get rid of them, then everything will be better?
Sounds like
Does that
somebody I know.
sound good?
Who was that guy? Who was that guy?
Yeah.
He had a very specific look on his face. I'll remember eventually.
Yeah.
I want you to hear the tenets, people. Here are the tenets of white privilege. You ready for this? Now, remember,
This ought to be fun.
this is what they say makes it white privilege. If you can do any of these things, this is considered white privilege. You ready? All right. The following are examples. I'm going to read it properly. The following are examples of ways white individuals have privilege because they are white. Please read the list and place a check next to the privileges that apply to you or that you have encountered. At the end, try to list at least 2 more ways you have privilege based on your race. Number 1, I can arrange to be in the company of people of my race most of the time. Black-owned businesses. Anyway, I can go shopping almost most of the time, pretty well assured that I will not be followed and harassed. Don't dress like a hobo. I can turn on the television or open the front page of the newspaper and see people of my race widely represented every TV show. When I am told about our national heritage or about civilization, I am shown that people of my color made it what it is. Yes, that's what they keep telling you, especially in Africa. I can be sure that my children will be given curricular materials that testify to the existence of their race. There is zero material out there that says black people don't exist. See how stupid this is. Anyway, I can go into a music shop and count on finding the music of my race, every single artist. Anyway, into a supermarket and find the food I grew up with, into a hairdresser shop and find someone who can deal with my hair. So not dealing with your hair is now racist. Okay.
So wait, black barbershops don't exist?
They
Yes,
don't.
yeah.
No.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whether I use checks, credit cards, or cash, I can count on my skin color not to work against the appearance of financial responsibility. Name one location. I am not made acutely aware of my shape, bearing, or my body odor will be taken as a reflection of my race. They call white people smell like dogs all the time. I'm sorry,
Oh,
but that's
man.
not white privilege.
I'm-
I can worry about racism without being seen as self-interested or self-seeking. What? I can take a job or enroll in a college with an affirmative action policy without having my coworkers or peers assume I got in because of my race. That's the whole point of affirmative action. I can be late to a meeting without having the lateness reflect on my race.
Oh my
CPT. I can choose public accommodation. So you're trying to tell me if you're early, that doesn't reflect on your race being white? I'm just asking. I can choose public accommodation without fearing that people of my race cannot get in or will be mistreated. I am never asked to speak for all of the people of my racial group. That's a lie. That is a lie. You tell us all the time we don't talk for black people because we ain't black. Anyway,
Mhm.
I can be pretty sure that if I ask to talk with the person in charge, I will be facing a person of my race. Anyway, if a traffic cop pulls, let's go to Chicago and see how many white people are in charge of stores there, and then let me know. If a traffic cop pulls me over or the IRS audits my tax return, they audit more white people than black. I can be sure that I haven't been singled out because of my race. White people cannot say that. I can easily buy posters, postcards, picture books, greeting cards, dolls, toys, and children's magazine featuring people of my race. It's everywhere.
And that
I
should be
can't-
BUI, not BY.
Yes, and they can't spell neither. I can choose blemish cover or bandages in flesh color and have them more or less match my skin.
Oh man.
Yes, you can. I can do well in challenging situations. Listen to this one without being called a credit to my race. I
thought they
can
liked
walk
praise.
into a classroom and know I will not be the only member of my race. I can enroll in a class at college and be sure that the majority of my professors will be of my race.
Oh man. Okay.
Well,
I got a couple of things.
I just did a check mark for all those questions. And hi, my name is Chad. I just like to say that I love America.
Yeah,
You know, I got 100. I got 100 on that questionnaire, guys. And
yeah.
yes, I'm proud.
Well, gee whiz, sir.
Gee whiz, golly gee whiz.
Jolly G. Willikers. This is the author.
Hey, we're
This
just
is the author.
claiming
Just so you know, this is
stereotypes.
fine. This is the author of
Oh
that
yeah,
list.
it's always a old liberal
yeah.
white lady.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
White.
Looking like
lady
Mrs.
boomer.
Doubtfire on crack. This is what this is the this is the cracked out Mrs. Doubtfire. Y'all ready? Okay, go ahead, Coy.
One of the things I want to go back to the bank one because I had one on that. It's like I'm sorry. They won't give you because of a certain race. I'm sorry, but if you show up looking like the hillbilly that just came out of the fucking woods and asked
You
for
ain't
a
gonna-
bank
you ain't
loan,
gonna get
you ain't getting one. I'm sorry. If you're, oh well, Billy Bob told me to come in here and he said I could just slide this paper across the thing and you'd give me some money.
No.
Right, like that's what we're doing here. I thought we all us white folks we stick together, you know. Like that's not how the world
look,
works. I'm sorry. Like
I
if
can't-
the dude in a suit's coming in, then he's getting the money, not you.
And I can't go into a Best Buy and buy the latest K-pop CD. I mean, hello, but I can sure as well go in and get the latest Beyonce record.
I mean,
So what gives?
Some of those questions is like when I walk into a room, I wanted to something about I want to see people of my own race. I mean, when I walk into a room, I just walk into a room. I don't give a damn who I see up in there. I
Maybe
really
that was
don't.
her
I
wish
don't.
list.
I don't walk into a Target and talk about, man, I hope there's some black people in here today. I'm tired of walking around. I'm tired of walking around Target and not seeing no black people.
Man, there are way too many crackers in this place.
I don't think
That's
like
that's
that.
what it is.
Who thinks like that?
Well, apparently she does, right? I
Well,
think that's just her
someone
wish
does,
list
and she's
of things that
actually
she wish
teaching.
would happen.
She's actually
I don't-
teaching people.
I don't go to Kroger, so I actually go to Asian grocery markets. So I definitely make plans to see
Those are the
people that
best,
are
though.
represented in my race.
My white ass goes to Sprouts. Okay.
No, you've got to go to the mom and pop Asian shops. They have the best shit there. I'm telling you.
Hey,
Oh, yeah,
hands
totally.
down.
No. Look, based off their little exam, I'm now white, and I
Yeah,
shop
like
at Sprouts.
bro's the whitest person in this room.
It's not unusual to be
I'm
loved
second.
by you.
Yeah. So, but here's another thing. Like I said, is like what they're really complaining about is majority privilege. Anywhere else you go in the world, they are not doing this diversity requirements anywhere other than white European countries or in the United States or Canada or Australia. These are the only places. The only places that diversity requirements are being implemented is in white spaces. That's it. Nobody else is doing that. You think they're doing that in South Africa right now? No, they're not doing that. They ain't going back to those days. Nah, ain't happening. They're gonna keep those white people down as much as they possibly can. And I get it. I really do. But I'm just saying, majority privilege has its benefits, especially in the places that you live. You think China's gonna have like there was somebody that really wanted to critique the Chinese basketball team because they didn't have enough black players on it. The Chinese basketball team did not have any black folk on it, and they were mad.
Like,
No, we know what a Jamar pizza.
You wonder if these white liberals, these white liberal think tanks, they're like, all right,
Yeah.
guys, Becky, Karen, come on in. Everyone have a seat. We got Starbucks over here. All right. So our issue today is black folks. You wonder if they just sit there with their notepads like, how can we get them to, think we're a little more hip and cool? Karen's like, we got to be on their side and fight for them and scream and shout and hold up our fists and say Black Lives Matter. And they really think this is a good idea in their little think tank.
Because it works. It works.
Yeah.
Well, and you're right. But us regular American black folks are looking at them like they're freaking idiots. We're like, what the hell? That shit was some
What is wrong with you?
That's some disrespectful stuff right there.
It's like I challenge this white professor to go to Japan with that checklist and see if that does not apply to every single Japanese person ever. Like, can you walk into certain places looking like me or Michael? No, you cannot. You're going to get one of these. We don't serve you here. Any Asian country you go into, if you are a foreigner, you are not getting in there, period. They'll look at you with funny looks and they'll say, man, this place is going to hell. Look at all these people we got here, right? It'll sound pretty hickish real quick if you could speak the language I'm saying, but it would sound exactly the same.
Asian hick.
We heard about you, a black man, your mandingo. We don't want to hear.
Is the rumor true? No Japanese woman for you.
We know like a Karate Kid too.
The problem with all of this is this, right, guys? This is what I'll say as my tail ender. They are banking on people giving into the emotional state that they're creating.
Mm-hmm.
They know that if they can push something that will get you out of your logic side of your brain and onto your emotional, it's a very powerful thing. Look, rage is a ridiculously influential force. Fear, a very influential force. And sadness is a very influential force. They far outweigh happiness. Like, exponentially outweigh them. You can coerce somebody with those three way more than you can with happiness. Instill fear, you have them for life if you wanted to. And that's exactly what they've done. They've created an atmosphere where regular emotional people are afraid to exist for no reason other than they've been told to be afraid.
Yeah.
And when they see people who are not afraid, oh, you must be on the side of the people we're afraid of. If that's how you want to think, then that's where I'm at.
And usually they say the same thing. Like I can say, and I've gotten to this conversation many times on social media platforms about, black people coming at me because I'm a black conservative, obviously, saying, you're oppressed and there, prejudice and racism everywhere. And I say, well, I don't see it. Well, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. They try to emotionally draw you in. And I'm just like, it's not happening to me. You know what I mean? I know it exists. Everyone knows it exists, but I'm
Oh, yeah.
sorry, I'm not going to live my life worrying about something that hasn't happened to me. You know what I mean? And they want you to worry about it. They want you to be miserable. Misery loves company. They want you
do.
to be angry. They want you to be emotional, no matter how good your life is. You know, I'm happy with my life as you guys are. Maybe not every aspect of our lives, but we're pretty happy about our lives. They don't want that. You can't be happy in America. Everything should be an issue until everyone is equal,
Yeah.
because we're not equal to white liberals.
Yeah, we're not. I don't
No,
want to be.
not to them in their
I
mind.
don't want to be equal to them. I'm above them.
Oh no. Yes.
I'm smarter than a white liberal. I'm telling you right now. There's no white liberal on earth, any. I don't care how educated you are. I'm putting this challenge out there right now. There are 0 white liberals that could debate me and win. None.
Hey,
Not a single one. All y'all dumber than a box of rocks. You're stupid, 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 stupid. Every single white liberal, male, female, and whatever transracial binary crap you want to put yourself in, all of you are dumb. And none of you will win in a debate with me. None.
ooh, I'd love to see that. But
Not
hey,
one.
so here's a challenge. You guys, we need to screenshot that part, and we're gonna put it out on all our social
They
media
ain't gonna
platforms.
bite. They ain't gonna
And
bite.
any predominant white liberal social justice warrior that bites, tell them to contact us and through our email, and we'll get them on the show and see how good they really are.
Yeah. Bring it best.
I doubt that.
Smack you straight to the moon, you moron.
I've
I can
seen
tell you right
Marlon.
now, though.
I've seen Marlon destroy people. I wouldn't.
No, I've seen Marlon not get the shot at destroying people because they run to go watch Black
Yeah.
Widow.
A lot of them run too.
I want them to keep running. Only way they'll lose weight because most of them are so obese. Anyway, we're gonna talk on Monday. We have no idea what the concept or the show is gonna be yet, but we'll know as soon as the weekend is over. So just keep looking at the page. Um, we have a lot to do, a lot coming off, a lot coming up, and we have a lot to talk about. We may tackle the so-called town hall that happened. Let's just do that Monday. We'll talk about the town hall that happened Monday, and laugh a little bit about how President
lot.
Trump destroyed them and made them look like they're idiots. So it'll be great. We are not equal in any way, shape, or form. No one is the same as the other.
Yeah. It's
That's a true
impossible.
statement.
The only place that we have any kind of equality is on the God side of things. Humanistically, there's no one equal to me.
Yeah.
Just period. I'm gonna say it's not that I'm better. You're just not equal to me.
You know, before we log off, there was this very predominant. I like to call them black intellects, and he was given this. He was talking out of college, and he asked this young black man. He was like, "What color is your spirit?" And a young black man said, "Black." And he goes, "No, it's not." He said, "Your spirit has no color." And if everybody would start thinking like that, you know, I look at skin color, and a lot of us within a conservative, a lot of people, we look at skin color kind of like an automobile, right? Our spirit is driving this automobile. We didn't pick this. We were given this. We didn't have a choice in this. We were given this. When you leave this automobile and say we all died at the same time, went up to heaven or whatever you believe in, I believe in heaven. And I see Coy. Am I going to know he's white? Let's say I didn't know him. Would I know you're white? No. You wouldn't know I was black, because all our spirits, holy spirits, not the demonic ones, all our spirits are the same. And if everybody lived their life like that, at the end of in the afterlife, we're all the same. We all look the same. We all walk. Everything's the same. It's just here on earth, this superficial thing that we didn't have control over drives a lot of the hate and divide in our country.
Anybody want to look on that side though?
No, I look at everything in a spiritual world.
That takes away the power.
Spirituality.
That takes away power.
Dig deep. If you want to know more about spirituality, just hit me up in my DMs.
Lies, don't do that. He lead you astray.
I don't do that. We meditate and we can talk about.
he's a black
spiritual.
supremacist. Don't listen to him.
I'm not. Chef Michael.
We
That's what
gonna
they're
catch
be
up
calling
on
me
Monday,
soon.
people. Be sure to make sure you get prepped for that because it's gonna be funny. We are gonna be laughing a lot come Monday. I guarantey you money that it'll be quite hilarious. Jay
Oh
Lee.
yeah, real quick. But if you
What?
guys got some screenshots of some tweets from these crazy liberals,
Oh gosh, yeah, send them to the
please
email.
send them to us. Please send, because we're gonna make fun.
We want to bring them suckers up
we're
badly.
bringing that smoke.
We want those. We want those badly. Send those in. Mr. Lee, take us out, sir.
So like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Savage Patriots.
Savage Patriots.